Welcome to the first lesson in English grammar. Before we study tenses, correction, agreement, or advanced structures, we need a strong foundation. In this lesson, we will understand the four basic building blocks of grammar: word, phrase, clause, and sentence. By the end of this lesson, you will not only know the definitions. You will also be able to tell the difference between these four units, identify them inside real examples, and avoid one of the most common beginner mistakes, confusing a clause with a full sentence. Many students try to learn grammar by memorizing rules directly. But when the building blocks are unclear, every later topic becomes harder. If you clearly understand what a word, phrase, clause, and sentence are, then subject-verb agreement, tenses, transformation, and writing all become much easier. Here is the big progression at one glance. Grammar grows step by step. A word begins meaning, a phrase expands it, a clause adds structure, and a sentence completes the message. Here is the same idea growing step by step. First, we have a single word. Then we add another word to make a phrase. Then we create a clause with a verb. Finally, we make a full sentence with complete meaning. A word is the smallest meaningful unit in a language. A word may name a person or thing, show an action, describe a quality, or connect ideas. The important point is that a word carries meaning by itself. Even at the word level, grammar already begins. Some words name things, some show action, some describe, and some connect one part of meaning to another. Later, these become parts of speech, but right now just notice the difference in function. Let us test the idea of a word before moving ahead. Each item here is a single word, but the grammar job is different. For now, simply confirm that each one is only one unit of meaning. A phrase is a group of words that works together, but it does not contain both a subject and a complete verb. A phrase can add meaning, but it does not stand alone as a full sentence. Phrases can do many jobs. A noun phrase can name something more fully. A prepositional phrase can show place or time. An adverb phrase can show manner. We are not studying all phrase types deeply yet, but these examples will help you feel the structure. A phrase may feel meaningful, but something is still missing. It does not give a complete thought with a subject and a working verb. That is why a phrase cannot stand alone as a full sentence. Now check whether you can spot phrases quickly. Read each group and notice that all of them give meaning, but none of them gives a complete message by itself. A clause is a group of words that contains a subject and a verb. That makes a clause more complete than a phrase. But some clauses still cannot stand alone, because they depend on another idea. There are two major clause families. An independent clause can stand alone as a complete thought. A dependent clause has a subject and a verb too, but it still depends on another part to complete the meaning. If you want to identify a clause quickly, ask two questions. First, is there a subject? Second, is there a verb? If both are present, you probably have a clause. Then ask whether the meaning stands alone or depends on another part. Let us practice clause recognition. Try to decide whether each one is an independent clause or a dependent clause. A sentence is a complete thought. It usually begins with a capital letter and ends with punctuation. A sentence may be short or long, but it must communicate a full message. To decide whether something is a sentence, check for three things: structure, completeness, and punctuation. Structure alone is not enough. The message must also feel complete. Now let us put all four units side by side. This comparison is important, because most confusion disappears when the differences become visible at one glance. Here is another full progression with a different idea. This helps you see that the pattern is not limited to one example only. The first common mistake is to treat any meaningful group of words as a sentence. Meaning alone is not enough. A phrase may sound useful, but it is still not a full sentence. The second common mistake is to think that every clause is a sentence. That is also not true. A dependent clause has a subject and a verb, but it still needs another part. Let us move into natural classroom-style examples. This makes the concept easier to remember because you can hear how these structures appear in daily English. Now let us use daily life examples from outside the classroom. Strong grammar understanding should work in ordinary situations, not only inside textbook sentences. This time the items are mixed. Your job is to label each one correctly as word, phrase, clause, or sentence. Before we close, keep this review pattern in your mind. A word gives meaning. A phrase groups meaning. A clause creates grammar structure. A sentence completes the message. In this lesson, you built the first grammar foundation. If this difference is clear in your mind, every later grammar lesson will become easier to understand and easier to use. In the next lesson, we move to the two core parts of every full sentence, subject and predicate. Once you understand them, sentence analysis becomes much easier.